saber, staff, saber staff. This system is so sweet. With the pop and flow connectors, you can almost instantly switch your blade, your shaft, your pommel out to create from your saber a staff or from your staff a saber. Now, you also get the added bonus of putting both your pommels onto the remaining handle to make a sweet little baton. In fact, this one's got so much weight, it's perfect for tip tails and contact moves in a tight space. And you can actually take the blade, maybe this is a better example, and let's say you had two martial sabers, and take the capsule out, stick that cap on the other end, and now you got a sweet little vision baton. It's so versatile and compact, all fits together, breaks down, goes in your bag, and the connection, where do we go here, is so nice and solid. The pop and flow connector has a socket in the tube and a plug on the end of the shaft with a little flange that pops into that socket. So you're going to insert the shaft into the socket. It might be quite firm so that it's a nice solid connection, and also because there is some variation in the exact diameter of the shaft, the tube, and the connector. We try to accommodate those tolerances and make a good secure connection that's also easy enough to use, but you might have to really twist and push to get that in there. And you want to feel that kind of pop into place. And if you're wondering if it's in all the way, you shouldn't be able to see any shaft. It should just be grip all the way up. If you start to see some of the shaft showing up, that means it's not in all the way. And also, twist while pulling a little bit, and you should feel that it's caught. You might want to do that a couple of times to get a feel for what the secure all the way in connection is and feels like. And do the same thing with the other end, and your saber's ready to go. To take it apart, simply twist and pull until it pops off, and do the same thing with the other side. Now, even if your connection is really tight, don't lube it. There's a lot of issues with lube and plastics, and it ends up being displaced by the pressure over time anyway, and no longer acts as a lube. And if it's too slick, you don't want your staff flying apart or your saber flying apart, and it's very difficult to clean out. So no lube. You want that connection to be nice and secure. Whether you got a contact saber or a martial saber, it's going to have a vision core on one end and a capsule light in the other. These both have the same interface. Press the button to navigate through the modes, and at the end of the page of 10 modes and autoplay, the light will turn off, and if you press the button again, it will turn back on again. You can also turn it off while it's in a specific mode by holding past 2 blinks and then let go as it fades off. Then when you turn it back on, it'll turn back on into the mode that you were just in. The 2 lights can also be wirelessly connected. To do that, we're going to turn them off, and we're going to hold the button for about 10 seconds from off. This is super handy in a saber so that you can control it all and keep them synced with just one button. I'm going to hold the button, and first it's going to blink my charge level. This is my battery charge indicator. Green is good, red is dead, yellow is pretty good. And after about 10 seconds, it blinks white, and the 2 group or connect to each other. Now, when I press the button on one, it's going to control them both together, and they will be synced. This lasts for about 8 hours, and then the radio turns off to save battery. So the next day you'll need to press the button on each light individually just once to turn them on, and then they'll be synced again. This is actually a setting that you can adjust if you get into the advanced features. There's tons of modes and features and adjustments that you can do, and there's lots more instructions on that, but this is just kind of a quick start to get you going. To charge your lights, the capsule and vision lights charge a little differently, and you might have one of either of these caps. To get to the light under the pod shell, you can peel the pod shell off like that, and your light might stay in there, or it might come out in the pod shell where it's seated, kind of depending on how, when you peel it off, how it behaves. Now that capsule light has a USB jack in the side. You can leave it in the pod and just plug your USB cable in the side to charge your capsule. If your capsule light is in a flow cap, you're going to twist and pull to pop that cap off, and then you're going to twist and pop the cap off of the capsule. And then there's your charging jack, so you can charge it there. When you put your capsule back in the cap, you want to pop it in there and make sure that it's aligned. There are actually two little shoulders on the end of the capsule that should align into two grooves in the cap. And no matter which way you push it in, you should be able to feel that when you twist it. And then you can put that back on to your pommel, and that is good to go. With the pod shell, you are going to want to, there's kind of just a rubber tube on the inside of the shell that has a friction fit on the outside of this tube. You just want to push that on really firm and take a look and make sure that the tube is not kind of folded under itself, which it just did to me, so that it is nice and flat around the tube there. And then that is good to go. For the vision end of your prop, I don't know why I turned the light off, I'll turn it back on. You're going to twist and pull to remove the cap, and underneath there is your USB jack. So in this case, the light stays in the tube and you charge it in there. And when you put the cap back on with the flow caps, you especially want to make sure that they are twisted into place and that both of the buttons inside the cap have snapped into place in the holes in the tube for a good secure connection.
One of the greatest things about flowtoys, besides their incredible build quality and feel, is our Forever Flow lifetime warranty program and customer service. We really care about your flowtoys lasting you a lifetime and then continuing to serve you as your flow practice evolves and grows over time. So develop them to be serviceable and made of modular parts that are easy to replace. This means you can upgrade them, and also if anything fails, you only need to replace that one part. We also have a trade-in policy that gives you 50% credit for any part in any condition returned at any time, so that your investment flowtoys can truly last you a lifetime.